Welcome to Harmony Baptist Children's Corner. My name is Dave. This is COVID Home Edition 54. 54 for April 25th. All right, 54. That's that's over a year. Do you remember a year ago? Do you remember what we were doing a year ago? A year ago, we were just into it. A year ago, couldn't get toilet paper. You remember that? A year ago, we were like, everybody's hoarding the toilet paper. Oh, I got the toilet paper. Couldn't get toilet paper, paper towels. Now, the toilet paper companies are saying that they're having actually, not a loss, but toilet paper sales are way down because now people are starting to use up those stockpiles they had. They're starting to figure, oh, that was dumb, you know. So, yeah, a year ago, so that's changed. What else has changed? The way we approached the COVID. Last year we were scared of everything. Wash your food and you know, but we weren't wearing masks. You know, now we're wearing masks and we're not so much worried about touching the food as the in the air like a regular flu bug. So things change, you know, people change. How have you changed? You've changed. I mean, obviously you've grown up a bit, but have you grown up better? Have you grown up worse? How have you changed? Things that make you change, like maybe you moved, or maybe you started a new school, or because you're not going to school, you changed. You know, things make people change all the time. Some people want to change. Some people, they look for change. They go to, you know, like make yourself better, or self-help sites, and all those kind of things. And that's good. You should want to make yourself into a better person. Science says there's three big things that will affect the way you will change over the next year. Three big things will affect the way you will change. One of them is the books you read. Yeah. The books you read over the next year will affect the way you are. They'll affect the person you are in a year from now. Now, movies and television and shows, they affect you a little bit, but not as much as books, because books you use your imagination and you look at every word and take it in. Sometimes on the TV you just kind of gloss over it, you know, you don't really hold it. But books, you take them in. So the books you read are a major influence on who you are and the type of person you are. The thoughts you think, that determines the kind of person you are. If you're a positive person, you're happy, then that's good. If you've maybe you've got a pet, maybe you lost a pet. These are the kind of things we think about. Maybe you moved, like I said. Maybe you started a new school. Maybe you lost someone close to you, like a grandparent, or maybe you know, there's lots of things that have happened, and they make you think different ways. And the things you think form who you are. You know. And there's one other thing, and they say this one is a huge influence on who you are, is the people you hang around with. The people you hang around with have a huge influence on you here, on who you are. In fact, the saying goes, you are who you hang around with. You become who you hang around with. There's one guy, one person I read, he says this. He says, your character is an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your character is an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, maybe that's your parents, maybe a brother and a sister, or a sister. But think of those people, and if they've got good character, you're like them. You've probably got good character. You're an average. But think of some people, like maybe if you were at school and you'd be spending more time at school and you're spending more time with certain people. Would that person be, you know, you'd start to be more like them, you know. So you are an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And they say that if you want to improve yourself, like if you want to get richer per se, you should make 10 rich friends and hang around with those people as much as you can all the time, your 10 rich friends. And if you do that, you'll find out that money is easy to make and is good. Because the work will be keeping that friendship. If you've got 10 rich friends, they're going to demand certain things of you to be their friends. So you have to work at that friendship, and you'll find that there's a little work thing. But once you've got into that friendship and you're with them, you'll find, well, this is okay, you know, and you become that person. And you find, in the same way, if you hang around with 10 poor people for the next year, after a year, your character, you will start thinking that money's hard to come by, and it's difficult to make money, and that's the kind of thing you'll start to believe. Because that's who you've hung around with. If you want to lose weight, they say you should hang around with 10 really, really fit people. you know? And after a year, you'll find that you've lost weight. You're in better shape because you hang around with those people and you want to be like, or whatever it is, you will become more like them. Same way if you hang around with 10 fat people, you'll find in a year from now you really love eating potato chips and ice cream and pop, and you don't really like working out that much. And it's just the people you hang around with is who you become like. Now, as Jesus followers, we're trying to be like Jesus. That's what we're saying. We want to be better people. We want to be like Jesus. So if we want to be like Jesus, we should hang around Jesus. Okay, so we do that as much as we can. We read our Bible about Jesus, and we listen to people when they talk about Jesus. But the people we hang around with, well, if we're trying to be like Jesus, then there's other people who are trying to be like Jesus. Well, then that's as close to Jesus as we're going to get. So we should hang around with those other people who are trying to be like Jesus. And then we can all be like trying to be like Jesus together. And that's a great idea, a really good idea, to hang around with people trying to be like Jesus. Sometimes, though, we hang around other people as well. And that's okay. I'm not saying don't have friends. But put it this way. You cannot hang around with negative people and lead a positive life. You cannot hang around with negative people and lead a positive life. So if the people you're around, they're always, they're all negative about everything, you're not going to be, hey, let's do this. You're not going to be a happy person. You're not going to be positive. You're going to be, yeah, that's crappy. I don't know. That's what it's going to end up like. You cannot hang around with negative people and expect to live a positive life. And God wants you to live a positive life. He's got plans for you, you know. And another thing I read, it's put like this. If you've got a friend that you wouldn't recommend to your sister or your brother, or maybe your mother or father or your grandmother, or your son or your daughter, if you've got a friend you wouldn't recommend to them, why do you have that friend? If you hang around with negative people, you can't live a positive life. So I'm not telling you to cut people out of your life, but maybe it's time to start looking at certain friendships and saying, I don't want to be like that. And making sure you're thinking about not being like that. That could be a good thing for you. So that's what I got this week. You become like the people you hang around with. So it's very important to pick the right people to hang around with. Read the right books. I know there's some books that I've read that are fascinating and make me think. I recently read this book about wolves, and I know all about wolf packs now, and it's really neat. Because I read this book, it was really cool. The thoughts you think, if you've recently moved, or if you've got a pet, or if you go camping and you have a really good time, or things like this. The thoughts you think determine the person you become. And the people you hang around with determine the person you become. And if you're trying to be like Jesus, which that's what we're trying to do, hang around with Jesus. Or people are trying to do that too. All right, that's all I got. Take care. I'll see you next week. Love you lots. Ciao.